Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a discussion over Ark Nova and the newest expansion, Marine Worlds.
Right.
Zach, you've never played Ark Nova before.
Nope, this is the first time playing it.
Very first time discussing it.
Yep.
We're not redoing this because I forgot to turn on my mic or anything.
Right.
Oh god, I always hate doing that. Anyway, welcome to the discussion for Marine Worlds, everyone. The first expansion to Ark Nova.
Right.
And what's really cool is we're going to be getting a fresh perspective on Ark Nova. About a year, it came out last year, right? Yes. Yeah. About a year after, almost 2 years after that this came out, because I feel like it was like early. It was either early 2022 or super late 2021, because I feel like on 2021 Dice Tower had it. I think Dice Tower and people got it, but then like pre-order people got it at the beginning of the year.
I mean, it's been out for close to 2 years, I think.
Right. So all the hype has died down. No one is talking about this being the best game ever made anymore.
Right.
So the whole comparison to Terraforming Mars and Terraforming Mars being dead and all that is like, okay, all that's basically squashed. And actually, what's funny is this same year, obviously, I've played Ark Nova again, and I played Terraforming Mars again. I barely see the similarities, really. I mean, they're there.
They're there. I see them less than everybody said there was going to be.
Yeah.
So to me, the biggest difference is, I agree with you. I don't want to play with this more than 2 people.
Right.
Terraforming Mars, I kind of want to play with 4 people. Because you do interact, because like everybody's raising different things up on the board.
That's true.
Here, other than basically who triggers the end, and literally it's one trigger.
Right.
I don't care. I'm not, like you said, I discard a card that you wanted. I had no idea that you were looking for that card.
It was just so weird that it was it was specific to reptiles. I had reptiles, and you're like, oh, I'll get rid of that one. I'm like, He knows I wanted that. I
honestly wasn't. I didn't even look at what the card did. It just looked ugly type card. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to get rid of it.
That's funny.
Honestly, wasn't even paying attention to what it did.
It was a reptile management plane. You needed 2 reptile icons. It gave you 2 conservation, and you can either search for a reptile,
got it,
sell 2 cards for money, or
but at that point, I actually had tons of reptiles.
Right, or for every 2 science icon, you got a reputation.
And I had
so you should have taken this one.
I should have taken that one, honestly. And so it's stuff like that. Like, I don't really see the comparison other than it's a tableau builder,
and it has icons,
and it has tons of. And you play off of your icons,
right?
But Terraforming Mars has enough interaction with players that you want players, because like you can use the red cards to bomb someone else.
Right.
You raise the oxygen above a certain point, and it ruins someone's plan from doing their card that they wanted.
Yeah.
Here, whatever you built was yours.
They basically do have icons like Venom. Each player ahead of you on the appeal track gains 1 Venom token, and those do stuff, and they go away at the break. I always thought that those were dumb, because it's like thematic. Like Terraforming Mars was thematic in interaction because you were all terraforming the same planet.
Yeah.
I have my own separate zoo. Let me put a reptile in here. Hey, zoo across the other state. You guys got bit. It was so dumb. We played with the variant where you just do the solo rules at the bottom. That was just way better.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, again, I haven't played it where there was, but I don't know why I am interacting with you in this game.
Because they just had to force it in there.
But again, you're right. Like Terraforming Mars, you're all terraforming the same planet, so the goal is as a group to terraform, but in essence, you're a corporation, so it's kind of like, to me, it's the cyberpunk world.
Right.
It's a megacorp who's trying to beat out other megacorps to do this goal, but we all have the same overarching goal to do it.
Exactly.
It's just who's going to be the beefiest at the end of the day.
Right. So with Ark Nova, I mean, it's still great. I still really, really like this game.
Yeah.
The expansion basically fixed any minor gripes that I had with it, because while it's a small, thin box, I mean, it's long, but it's a very thin box. And, of course, all these zoo games, Meadow added Downstream. It's like they all got to add Aquatic, because it's like, what else would you add?
Right.
So it adds aquariums.
Yep.
Which are a new enclosure you can build, obviously, that holds fish. And other stuff. Like in mine, I had a blue-ringed octopus, which has venom that we didn't do, and then I had a black bar triggerfish.
I had quite a bit. And again, they're like reptiles, so once you have an aquarium, they take up a different space on it.
They have to go in the aquarium.
Yeah, I had so many zero-costing fish.
Right.
It was like, okay, I have a 2, and I had 1 fish that required a spot in it.
Exactly. Both of mine required spots, but I built a 5 from the get-go.
Right.
So the fish are really cool because they kind of have a like reef ability on them that is kind of like a sandbag thing where it's like the blue-ringed octopus. It's like its reef ability gives me 3 money, but if you play more fish that are like reef feeders or whatever they call them, reef breeders, reef dwellers, that like activate coral abilities. It activates all coral abilities, so it's like as long as you keep doing that.
You're good.
I get a reef ability that lets me draw a card within my reputation range as well as get 3 money. Oh, I played another fish that has a reef icon, so now I get to do that again, get 3 money, and do the new ability.
Right.
I think that's really neat. That's a pretty innovative way to add a new engine type of it, because it's like engine builders are hard to add stuff to, especially something new.
Right.
I thought that was a really cool thematic way to kind of be like, hey, I mean, it's a massive aquarium. Fish are, I mean, they don't take up a lot of space. You can just have them all in the same spot. That was really neat. And then they added basically what was the biggest issue with Ark Nova, and that was that you had a deck of, how many cards was it originally? 128 animal cards, 212 zoo cards, which are 128 animal cards, 64 sponsors, and 20 conservation. So there's over 200 cards in the deck, and then they added 54 new ones from this. So you have, 260 cards that you just shuffle together into that deck. And the biggest problem that a lot of people had, at least I know I had, was if you wanted a theme or you were drawing specific cards that did specific things, you had to just hope that they came out, hope that you could get it, or hope that you drew into it.
Right.
And the Marine Worlds added a pretty good way to be able to filter through the deck without it being too much, without you always seeing everything. Otherwise, the game would just be like, get whatever you want the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can't do it very often, but you can filter once with, a research building.
Yeah.
There are cards that basically just kill more cards in the tableau, which again, because you're only discarding 2, at the beginning, and if you hit another wave card, you might discard 3. But those cards have been out there for a while. Like
exactly.
You had opportunities. If you didn't get it, I'm sorry. You had some opportunities to get it. Yeah. That's your fault.
The game gives you enough to ramp up to try and snap. Right. Or, because it's super easy to flip at least one card. If you want card control, then you should flip the cards. So you can snap earlier.
Right. And so, to me, that's kind of some of the cool things about it. And so, I never felt, at least personally in this game, I was unable to get a theme kind of going. I went with the fish and reptiles specifically. I was looking for low cost in areas because I didn't want to build a lot. Yep. And looking over mine, it's like, one reptile, 0 fish, 1 fish, 0 reptiles, 2 reptiles. And I almost filled up my reptile spot, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking because originally I was going primate, and there was a sponsor out there for primates, but then I just wasn't able to grab it quick enough. I kind of went similar. I mean, I went a majority reptiles again because that just happened to be one of the things. But they added, the wave icon, which inherently does nothing, but as it flips, it's like, oh, wave icon, you discard another card. So at most, on a break, you're discarding the first 2, you flip over a wave, that's going to be 3. If you happen to flip over another wave, that's 4 cards coming through. Which some people might not like, because it's like, well, that's 4 cards, 2 extras that you might not have been planning for. You might have been like really wanting the spot in the 3, but now it goes away.
Right.
Yeah, that could be annoying, but it's super rare. I think the entire game we had maybe max 5 times that it happened. And they also added, and this is one of the also really cool things of this expansion, is there are 20 alternate action cards, so 4 for each of the things. And you shuffle all of those and hand each player 3, and you draft those. So every player is going to have 2 unique
one that they're going to choose, and then another one that's basically getting handed to them.
Right. And you have to pick, obviously, 2 different ones. Right. So, like, for this particular game, mine that I chose were cards and animals. And my cards ability, when I played it, the first thing I did was dig. So I actually, again, was able to seed the market and just kind of discard 1 and replenish it before I even drew.
Right.
And then if I upgraded it, which I didn't, I could do that. I could dig twice. So they added even more ways to kind of be like, well, I don't really like my options out there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these 2, discard those, and replenish them. And I was actually almost going to do that with the reptile conservation, because I was like, oh, I can snap earlier, but you ended up getting rid of it before I could. But it's like, oh, I can actually remove it.
Right.
I can remove a card to get it lower down on the track within my reputation range.
Right.
But so that was that. And then my animals one was, if I play animals, and if I have no animals in my hand after doing that action, I got to hunt 4 or 6, which means I get to draw and search for an animal that I just want.
Right.
Which, again, just adds more to be able to be like, I want something specific.
Right.
Very specific icon or something. And that was all previous to this expansion. You had to hope you drew an animal that had an ability that you keep search for something. Now it's like, oh no, I just have that ability to do.
Yep.
Which one? What? Oh yeah, what did you have? What were your abilities?
So I had Animal Association. So Animal allowed me to mark cards. So from the very beginning. So when marking cards was, you put one of your cubes out on an animal card. If it got discarded, it went to your hand. And if someone else took it, you got $2 for that.
Yep.
But then when it flipped, which is where I was really kind of going with this one, is if it was in your 5 slot and you played it from basically the tableau, you would get 1 research as well.
Right. Research or reputation.
Reputation.
Okay, I'm like, what?
1 reputation for it. So for me, that was pretty cool because, again, I had my end goal was to get high reputation.
Oh, yeah.
My other one was association. So when it was in the 5 spot, you could basically play it to put it at 1 and then do another action.
Yeah.
So you would never have a dead turn if you didn't want to do an association when it was at 5.
Right.
And then the backside was, again, normal association, but instead of making a donation, you could pull a card from wherever your reputation, wherever your reputation was as well.
Yeah.
So you had a choice now of just pulling an extra card per turn, or doing your donations.
Again, causing more cards to come out.
More cards to come out.
Like on top of the cards that, because there was a point where I think we had a break and you had 10 cards in your hand. And funny enough, I had like none.
Right.
But that worked out specifically for mine because my strategy ended up being big on conservations. Like I got my zoo the way I wanted it, and it was like, okay, conservations now.
Right.
So we had totally different games, but was again really cool. It's kind of like giving people special player powers,
right?
In a very unique way. Like like this action system is so cool.
Yeah,
it works so well, and it's so streamlined too.
So I love this action system.
Yeah.
So I play Civilization New Dawn, which has this exact same action sequence.
I haven't played that.
I really like, because to me it's a rondelle without being a rondelle.
A little bit, yeah, I guess so. No. Yeah, because you're like,
It's better to charge up your power all the way here, but you don't have to. You're not required to. Because like there's times where I did animals twice because I had marks on it, and I only needed to do it at the 1 because when you flip it, you did it at the 1, and it worked out.
I mean, there was one turn I had where I did a conservation because I was able to do it at 4. It went to 1, but then the conservation got me 3, so then I charged it up and did it again while it was at 1.
Right.
It's like, cool. And it actually matters in what order they are because it's like, I did my association action way early, but that was my only guy available, so now it's all the way at 5, and I can't do anything with it. So that's why there are abilities that are like, hey, put any card at 1 so you can kind of get it away when it doesn't do anything for you at a high value.
Especially in late game or early game where you might, like, again, if you don't have any guys, then your association action is kind of worthless.
It is.
And so with this ability, I can basically move it to 1 and do something else at 5.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's mainly what Marine Worlds brings. It obviously brings in aquatic animals. I'm pretty sure that's all it brought in. Like, it brought in new conservation projects, and it brought in new sponsors, replaced some old ones that were either not good enough or overpowered, trying to balance it out. New action cards, and that's pretty much it. So basically, if your major issue with Ark Nova was the fact that you felt it was whoever top decked the best, this expansion
probably fixes that.
Probably fixes it. It's not a surefire way, because I knew they had to fix it. Like, whenever I pre-ordered this expansion, I was like, I didn't know anything except that it had more aquatic animals. And I was like, it has to come up with a way to fix the luck of the draw.
Right.
And my entire thought was they were going to make you seed the deck. Like, make it a certain limit, or you had to pick certain cards. Like, you had to isolate them and then shuffle them and randomly do it. Which I thought would have just been an awful way to do it.
Right.
Especially because it would have made setup a lot longer. But I think the way they did it was the best way that they could have. I felt in this game with the expansion that I had a lot more agency, especially with that university. At least it's a one-time thing, but it's like, at least if you take that one university, it gives you a science, and you get to pick one of the available icons: reptile, primate, bird, herbivore, carnivore. And you get to look, you just reveal from the top of the deck, I took the bird one. So until I get a bird icon at the top, there's one. So you'll at least get one, and then these go at the bottom.
Right.
But you'll at least get one thing. And it's a university, and it's a science icon, and it's also that icon that'll play off other stuff. So there's that, on top of the wave break, on top of the action cards, on top of just other abilities that are going to constantly seed through that. I mentioned it when we were originally doing this discussion, when we had... This is the largest discard pile I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just if you compare it to what's still left in the deck, like, that's like... there... Yeah, that's like 2.5 of that. So there's... And I'm glad you don't see everything. Because if they made it to where you were always going... You always went through
if you had to shuffle through a deck again.
Yeah. I'd be like, this can kind of always get what you want.
Right.
So overall, I mean, what do you think of Ark Nova?
I mean, I think it's good. I think it's different enough from Terraforming Mars. I don't see the... Other than your building tableau, and again, going through a massive deck of cards.
I kept both. I was like, I don't see a reason why
I'd probably keep both if I owned both.
Yeah.
It's not about good enough for me to go and buy it myself.
Go out and get it.
I mean, again, I know lots of people who love it, and so go get it. I just know it's too long for what like me and my wife are going to play if we just sit down to play it. I'm not a solo gamer, so I'm not going to play this game solo.
Yeah, I've done a solo discussion. You can go check that out.
And I agree with you. I don't think it would be good with more people.
No.
And so,
not.
for me, it's not going to go in my collection.
Yeah.
But I don't need it to, partially because I know enough people who have it that if we want to play it, we'll just go play it.
Yeah. I think my review and discussion from whenever I did this way back when still stands. This game, I think, is still fantastic.
Yep.
If you are a solo gamer, it's still amazing.
Oh, yeah.
This expansion, I mean, because basically, it's like I think the solo is like a glorified timer.
Yes.
Like, it's just, there's like an arbitrary thing where that just kind of ticks down, and then you're like, oh, I'm out of turns.
Right.
Game's over.
Right.
And then the expansion does add a different way for the solo play, so that's there. Yeah, oh, it also added new bonus tokens, so yeah, I mean, it still holds up. The expansion just makes it better.
Yep.
I don't know what they do from here, though, because they had a zoo map pack, so they added new zoo maps.
Yep.
That was always nice. I have played on other various zoos, but even the standard map A one, I think still gives you, like, you don't really miss out on anything.
Right.
Puts everyone on an even playing field.
Right.
I mean, obviously they could do more map packs, because they call it Zoo Map Pack 1. So
I mean, you can always just add more animals and just make the deck bigger.
You could just make it bigger, yeah, but I mean, if they were going to go themes, man, what could you do? They can go real crazy and do dinosaurs and then just make it to where it completely does away with Dinosaur Island or Dinosaur World.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think that they should do more conservations. I would actually like them to do a little bit more. They could go. No, they did the aviary thing. They've done reptiles. I think that they could do more with a little bit of where you can get more end game objectives.
Yeah, that's one thing.
You're pretty much just given one.
Yeah,
and that's it. Or you're given two. You have to pick one.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do with this, because obviously animals are now done, and you don't want to make the deck too big.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And again, that might be that is what is.
It doesn't necessarily need more. Again, this is the entire deck that's left. Obviously, you play with more, you're gonna have less. But right,
it's a solid game, so I don't know that you need more.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving Ark Nova and Marine Worlds?
8.
8.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a pretty good score. I've already ranked Ark Nova, so I'm gonna rank the expansion here. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah.
Like, I think the expansion is super good.
Right.
I was actually surprised with, like, I expected there to be more than like 54 cards, because there's 32 animals.
Right.
16 sponsors and 6 conservations that go in the deck, and with some replacements. So really, all it added was 32
new cards,
new animals.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's it. But surprisingly,
we hit a lot of them.
but it didn't feel like it was like, oh, it's all,
right,
all fish.
Right.
They came out, and really how I shuffled that was I basically took all the cards and just mixed them. But it came out in a really good spread. We saw a lot of the new ones.
Right. I mean, probably we went through probably close to half the deck with all the cards we played, plus what's in the discard.
Half of what's remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was still present with how big that deck is. I was thinking you're either never going to see them or you're only going to see them.
Yep.
But that's just kind of the nature of the game. You go with what you get.
Right.
But with the new additions of the special actions and the ways to go through the deck, I think it definitely enhanced the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to give Marine Worlds a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty. Well, that's our thoughts on Ark Nova and the Marine Worlds expansion. Let us know what you think of the game or the expansion in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.